So these are going to be your 2 pieces of paper for your actual journal. Now, let's see. Actually, I think we need, go ahead. Oh, you're going to actually need 3. It's 2.5, but pick out a 3rd one as well because we're going to have to trim it. So pick out a 3rd piece that will also work as your long piece. Now, what I did on my original journal, if you don't want your paper to be consecutive, you can cut one of the pieces in half and then put, you know, a long one, a short one, a long one, and a short one. You don't have to do that, but if you don't want your paper to be consecutive, you can do that. Now, for me personally, I don't think it's necessary because keep in mind, you're going to be decorating these pages along the way. So while your back shows, it's not going to be the prominent piece that's showing. So if you don't feel, you know, that you want to cut it in half and have to glue them to make a long piece, you don't need to do that. I'm not going to do that for mine. The other pieces that you need to pick out are the pieces for your cover. Okay, so you're going to want to pick out, and this is where you might want to go more vertical than horizontal. You're going to want to pick out pieces for your back and for your front. Okay, so go ahead and pick those out as well. And keep in mind, we are trimming these. So if you like some, you know, if you pick out a big image, let's say like this one, it may not work very well because you're trimming it down. So just kind of keep that in mind as well when you're choosing your pieces of paper. All right, I think I'm going to go with these 2 here for mine. No. All right. Okay, now within your kit, you should have also gotten these 2. These are your front and your backs, okay? So just kind of put those aside for a minute because we're going to use those in just a minute. So now that you've got your 3 pieces of paper, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to glue them together. So you're just going, and maybe just like a 1/2 inch. You don't need much. You're going to have more paper than you need, so we're going to have to trim it. But I wouldn't, you know, glue it this much necessarily. You want to glue it about a 1/2 inch. So let's go ahead and do that right now. And did everybody go off camera? The only person I see is Betty. So
I'm here.
Okay, so the only person I see on camera is Betty. If you want me to, there you go. The only reason I say that, hi Robin, it's nice to see you. The only reason I say your hair is fine is sometimes when you're making your project, if you want me to see something, or some people will say, is that okay? I want to be able to see your projects. So if that's the reason, like, I'd like to have you on camera. All right, so let's go ahead and let's glue our pieces. So you're going to take your 3 pieces, glue, and glue. So let's go ahead and do that. Karen, your camera is broken. Okay, but you can hear us okay and see us, right? Yes, yes. Perfect. All right.
I'm taking notes. I'm not making mine right now.
You're not making yours right now? All right.
And you're gluing them just about 1 inch. Okay.
Yeah.
1 inch. Okay.
And actually, I changed my mind here. No. This is why I use wet adhesive, because I changed my mind a lot. So I just I decided I didn't want my pattern paper to be all the same. So I'm going to do pattern, solid, and then I'll do pattern. So when I flip it over, it's not all solid. So kind of keep that in mind when you're choosing which paper to glue together. Okay. All right. So we're going to set this aside a minute, especially if you've used wet adhesive. You want to give it a minute to bind because we're going to be ripping and tearing. So once you have this glued, go ahead and set aside just so it thoroughly dries. And then we're going to work on the covers. So for the cover, the first thing you want to do is you want to figure out what you want to be for your top, right? And then, what you want to be for your inside. So you're only going to cover one side because when you glue this down, so don't get ahead of me. When you glue it down, you're going to cover the top, and then you're going to put it on your paper, right? And then you're going to cover it again. So don't cover both sides. Don't get really ambitious and cover both sides. Only cover one side first.
How thick is that board? May I ask? Is that like an etc. tag?
Tim's journals are etc. tags. My journals are recycled game boards. So they're Monopoly boards, they're Scrabble boards.
Okay.
And that's another way that I can keep your kids down is because I get creative with my product. So,
I just wanted to know what to make my tag out of. Okay, yeah. I gotcha.
Yep. So so you can get the etc. tags. That's what I kind of measured it off of when I made my very, very first one. But these are recycled game boards.
Thanks.
Pretty clever, right?
Very. Thank you.
All right. So once you figured out what your top is going to be, go ahead and glue it down. Now, I think that I said in my email to you to use an X-Acto knife because the X-Acto knife, and of course, I don't know where mine is, cuts really nice once you glue it. But of course, you can use scissors as well. But it's really nice to be able to have an X-Acto knife to cut it out.
Monica, do you have sticky paper on this?
I do. Yep, I made sticky paper for you.
Okay.
I wasn't sure if what everybody had for their supplies, so I tried to make it as easy as possible for you.
You're very kind.
Yes, she is.
Well, I want crafting to be a fun experience. I don't know if you've ever heard my story about some of these more complicated projects. I wasn't always teaching classes. I just kind of created for myself. And I kept hearing people say how hard some of the projects were. And hold on. I can't talk and craft apparently. I kept thinking, they're really not that hard. I wish people could see my process. And then I started creating videos. Well, I work full time, so my video time was getting less and less. So wow. I thought, well, what if I did classes and just kind of broke it down for everybody? And that's kind of how it came to fruition, because I think with anything, if you look at this, it's very intimidating to look at it. But if you break it down, it's not that bad. So that's kind of how I started. And I didn't want anyone to break the bank, attending my classes. I wanted them to be affordable. And honestly, I just wanted them to be fun, and if you like my product, I'm a vintage inspired crafter. If you like my product, maybe you'll shop in my shop. Maybe you'll attend more of my classes. The idea is once I retire to be able to do this not full time, because I don't want a second job when I retire, but to do this more. So, I do what I can by working full time. And I know there's a lot of Tim Holtz lovers out there. I want us to be able to enjoy creating without it being frustrating.
Well, that's how I got attracted to your videos one day. I just came across them and I said, hey, here's a lady who uses Tim Holtz items. And then I really enjoy your videos every week.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I'm a fan of his designers, but some of the stuff the designers make are very intimidating.
Oh yeah, it's way above my grade.
Yeah. So I just started, you know, teaching. I just started teaching myself, to be honest with you. Because a lot of his designers don't do videos. They do pictures, very beautiful pictures, but they don't do videos. So I just started teaching myself, and I just thought I would share the craft.
Yeah, I think you do it really well.
Yeah. Yes, she does.
All right, so here's your top, right? So, and now we want to do our other side. So this is your back. So find a piece that works for your back side. Let's see. Robin and I have become good friends through crafting.
Yeah, Joanne hasn't had any good sales lately. Oh,
no, they have not. No. All right. Okay. All right. Do this.
Oh, Monica, you know that a cherry on top has 20% off for National Scrapbooking Day.
Oh, okay. You know, somebody emailed me earlier, Robin. I think it was Cordelia, and she said that there's 30% off of. I'll forward you the email I got. 30% off of Tim Holtz stuff.
Oh, really? Oh,
and it wasn't cherry on top. It was somebody else, but I can't remember because it was when I was setting up for my class that I saw the email. And
okay.
she was so cute. She was like, I hope you don't mind me forwarding you this ad. I'm like, honey, I said, you can forward me any ad that has Tim Holtz on sale.
Yes. We have to enable each other.
Absolutely. All right. So I think I can't decide what I want to do. All right.
Okay, this will be the front cover. Cover. Okay.
All right, so let's see. I guess I'll just do this.
And we're in the process of looking for new houses closer to my daughter. And my thing is I need to have a craft room. That the house doesn't have a craft room. I don't.
Yeah, when we moved to Prescott, that was the number one thing on my list is a craft room. But my office, I work remotely. My company is in Jacksonville, Florida, actually. So my days start at 5:30 every morning.
Oh.
Yeah, it's tough. But my office and my craft room work together. My office has about this much, and my craft room is about that much. The bare minimum. All right. So, how's everybody doing? Does everybody have their one side covered?
I don't hear anybody.
I know I didn't hear anybody either. I looked up to see.
Oh, Karen's done.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and move along here. So now that we have our front side covered, just finish trimming it here. And you can see where this X-Acto knife comes into play. It's just very, very easy. If I had scissors, it'd be a little bit bulky. But the X-Acto knife is wonderful.
You're not distressing the edges?
I will be.
Okay.
Who said that? Is that Robin?
Yes.
Who said that? Yeah. Rob, you know me better than that. I'm just trying to get this exactly even. All right. So before Robin's jumping ahead, she's been in a few of my classes. So before we actually distress, this is where your sander comes into play. We can trim it pretty close, but sometimes you can't get it exactly close enough. I go around the edges with my sander. And that also tears your paper. It makes it white. So when you add your distress ink, it really shows up nicely. So you don't, this is a step you don't have to do, but this is what I do. And you'll see that by distressing, I don't know if you can see that, it does make the edge of the paper white. And then when you add your distress ink, it really picks it up nicely. And my sander is from an old a pedicure kit. So, so that's where I got this. Somebody gave me a kit, and I'm like, this is a good sander for crafting.
Yeah.
So that's where I got that. My husband said they should call me the frugal crafter because I make up things as I go along and tools as I go along.
That's
All
what
right.
you got to do.
Absolutely. Okay, so now that we have our sanding done, I'm using walnut stain. This is my distress ink of choice when I'm doing edges and whatnot. Another one that would work, of course, is the ground espresso from Tim Holtz is really good. His vintage photo is really good. But for whatever reason, this is my go-to. So this is what I'm going to use. And I'm just going to go ahead and just add ink and then just add it to the edges.
Out of curiosity, when you use game boards for tags, what do you use to cut through them?
Yeah, that's where my husband comes into play. He has a saw, an electric saw that he puts them through.
Oh, okay.
So I put out all the lines on the board, and then he cuts them for me.
Got it. Thanks.
Yep, you're welcome. All right, so now we have our two boards. We're going to put these aside for a minute, and we're going to start working on our sheets of paper. All right, so by now these should be dry. What we're going to do is we're going to tear the edges, okay? So as you can see in the book, hopefully you can see this, you have torn edges, and I want you to be mindful that kind of how much you're tearing. Let me see here. So here's your tag. Here is the edge of your paper, okay? So kind of keep that in mind when you're working with your board. You can see right now it's pretty big. You want your tears to come right below the kitty corner here. So right about here to right about here. Let me get a ruler and I'll tell you. I guess that would probably help. So you want your finished paper to be about, to be about 5 inches, okay? So right now, does that make sense what I'm saying? Your paper right now is 6 long. When you're finished tearing, you want it to be 5 long. So do about 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is a junk journal. It by no means it should look perfect. If it looks perfect, then we can buy them in the shop. But that's about where you want to finish. So what you're going to start doing here is just start tearing. So there's no fanciness to it. You're just going to start tearing it. All right. And once you tear it and if you find you don't have enough torn, tear a little bit more. Or, you know, tear the top and then figure out how much you need to cut for 5 inches. Maybe get a ruler and that'll tell you kind of where to go. Ladies, it does not have to be perfect. So if it's 4 3/4, that's fine. It's just an estimate. But that's what I did for my book. Is I ended up with a piece that's about 5 inches. Any questions on that, or does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Makes
Yep.
sense.
Perfect. All right. Now, if you don't like torn edges, I guess I can say this. You can cut it, I guess. I like the torn edge look. But again, like I said in the beginning, it's your journal. If you don't want to tear your edges, you can cut it. But I like the worn look. Let's see here. Now, another way, and I think I've shared this trick before, if you don't like tearing, you could use the edge of your ruler to tear. I don't think it tears it organically enough for me. That's why I tear it, you know, by my hands. But if you don't want to have to do that tearing, you can do it off of an edge and just kind of rip it that way. It won't, your tears won't be as dramatic, of course, but it'll work. One of the reasons I started as a vintage crafter, you know, junk journal, grungy, is because I don't care how good you are. I don't think our projects will ever be perfect unless we're robots. So I don't mind things being imperfect, you know, and I've accepted that. For me, it's all about the creative process. All right. Now, don't throw these away because we might use them. When you're creating a junk journal, I don't throw anything away until I'm completely finished because you might want to use those.
Now, do you use both of your fingers to control how much?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let me show you how I did that. Let me see how much I need here. So I kind of figure out how far I want to go up, and then I use my other finger to start tearing. So my thumb here is my guide, because if I just start tearing, it might get, you know, too much.
Right.
So I use my first thumb to just kind of guide me, and then I use this hand to tear.
Okay.
Yep. How's everybody doing? Is everybody good?
That was a great observation.
My chairs used to go all over the place. That's why I pay attention. I would have a big jagged edge in the middle.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's why this big thumb works really well to guide you.
Now, does it matter whether you're going towards you or behind you or back?
Now, if you're only using one side, Robin, I'd say it probably matters, but because you're using two sides,
Doesn't matter. Okay.
doesn't matter. Yeah. So if I was just using the one side and I didn't want this white to show, then I tear back so the white doesn't show. But because it's going to show on both sides, it doesn't matter. All right. So once we've got it torn, then you're going to want to distress your edges with your distress. So you can go ahead and do that now. I'm going to tear a little bit more off of mine. Now, when I do the edges, I know some people will lift it up and edge it this way. I don't mind my ink to be on my pages. I mean, keep in mind, you're going to be adding ephemera and items. So I ink my edges right on my glass board here. If you don't want to get ink on your pretty paper, you don't have to do it this way. But again, I don't mind the grunginess. I kind of like it. What I don't like is white edges. So that's what I'm covering up. I don't like white edges. I don't like it to look new. Is everybody good so far? Everybody's following along okay?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Suzanne, you still with us?
It's amazing how that changes the paper.
Absolutely.
Just that ink.
Completely different, right? Yeah, when I'm making my prototypes, ladies, they take me probably 2 or 3 days. When I made my prototype for my Halloween class, I think the first thing I started with was this piece here, which was this Gary guy. And it took me probably 4 days to put it together because, you know, I don't always know how it's going to end up. I have an idea of the direction I want to go, but I don't always know how I'm going to end up. So when I do the classes, to be honest with you, I need my prototype because that's how I'm able to do it in like 3 hours, or else we'd be here for like 4 days. But these, you know, these journals take time. You know, you dig through your stash, you figure out what you want to use. You know, so they can take a little bit of time.
Yeah.
But I think once you've got the base, though, the decorating part is the fun part.
Plus, what you're doing for your stuff doesn't necessarily carry over into a class.
Right.
So you have to think about that too.
Yeah. All right. So now that we have our base, we got to ink both sides. I forgot about that. Make sure you flip it over and ink the other sides.
Teresa's working so hard.
I know.
Crazy. Is anybody else working?
I'm surprised my tongue isn't going.
I know the feeling.
That's normally how I roll.
I caught myself doing that with the tongue when I was trying to fussy cut things out.
Oh yeah.
Well, that helps us, you know, getting our creative juices flowing, having our tongue out, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, we're keeping an eye on Teresa. We're watching her. I'm taking notes, so
Very good. Okay, so we've got both sides inked up. Now we're ready to glue it to the book. Now, I start from the back. Okay, so here's your front, here's your back, here's my last page open. Okay, everybody with me so far? That's how I start. So I'm going to find my back piece.
And on those, you only have it on one side so far, right?
Have
On
what?
your tag?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. I'm like, have what? Yes. Because when we flip this over and we add our paper, we want to cover this. So we
Okay.
want it to be one piece. So when you cover it, you don't want to see this. And that's why we only wanted to do one piece. Does that make sense what I just said?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. All right. All right.
And that helps keep the tag together with the paper.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, absolutely. All right. So uncovered side down on your back piece. You don't want it hanging out. See, on this side, it's hanging out. You don't want it hanging out. So you want to get it flush with your edge. Okay? You're going to glue it down. Now, you're going to eyeball it here, right? So even this piece here is probably bigger than I want it. It's just 5. If you need to trim it a little bit more, this is not necessary. This is me just being me. Figure out where you want your tag to be. I mean, I'm fine with that. That's cool. But before you glue, make sure you're happy with what you're gluing down. That's all I'm trying to say. Once you glue it, I can't help you. All right. So I'm going to get my wet adhesive. And I'm going to find my pencil. Oh, where's my pencil? It's somewhere around here. I'm going to use a paper mark. You want to mark. You want to mark how much glue you're going to need here. So I'm just going to put this little paper clip right there. Because I'm not going to add the glue to this. I'm going to add the glue to this. And that's why I'm kind of marking how much glue I need. So be generous.
The back. Karen, it's the back.
Okay, what? There's a question?
Yes.
What? Oh, okay.
She wanted to know if you were working on the front or the back.
Yeah, I'm working on, this is the back side. I just find it easy to fold it that way. So yeah, this is your back panel that you're working on. All right. Now, once you have your glue, figure out exactly where you want it. You want it to be in the middle. You don't want it to be on the edges, ladies. You want it to be in the middle. So you should have cut the paper enough to be able to stick your tag in the middle portion, not at the edges. It's very important. All right. Is everybody good? Any questions so far?
In the middle. Go down in the middle of the paper. Okay.
All right. Now I'm using wet adhesive, so I'm going to give it a minute here. Now, when we start doing our accordion fold here, I want to show you something. So do you see my first fold right here? You're not folding at the edge of the tag. You're folding about, I don't know, maybe a little more than a ½ inch. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to measure out a ½ inch. I just want to point out that you're folding over a little bit more than the tag. Okay? Is that any questions on that?
No, that makes sense.
Okay. All right. So once you're ready to fold, do your first fold and then stop there. So I'm just gonna eyeball it here. I eyeball everything. I typically don't measure. If you feel the need to measure, do what makes you comfortable. To me, if I don't measure, then I expect it to be not perfect. So I'm fine, and I'm fine with that. I'm completely fine with that. But you know
That's
what?
because,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No,
Because
please.
I keep thinking in my head, because if we don't measure, it's not perfect. It's okay. We can eyeball it because it's all going to turn out okay in the end, right?
Exactly. And
Okay.
to me, the imperfectness of it, the jaggedy edges, I think that's what gives the journal's character, in my opinion. Not everybody feels that way.
I have a question.
Yes.
So when you glued that down, did you glue it to the edge of your 3 pieces of paper that are right to the edge? Okay,
I
perfect.
did.
Thank
Yep,
you.
right at the edge.
Okay, thank
Yep.
you.
All right. So once you have your first fold, then you can use this as a guide for the rest of your folds, okay? So again, let me go to the back. So here's my first fold. Your second fold, you still want to leave some on the edge. So my second fold is going to be, my point is you want to have pieces on both sides. You want to have it sticking out here, and you want to have it sticking out here. I'm hoping that makes sense what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. And again, just eyeball it. It doesn't have to be perfect. All right. So there's our first fold, right? And then just jiggity jag it. Just fold back and forth. Now, when you do your fold here, you want to line it up. You don't want, your pages to be uneven necessarily. So I would use your first fold as a guide for the rest of your folds.
This is the hardest part.
Yeah, yeah, it can be because you want to make sure that it's lined up so it isn't like a book. Like here, I was kind of going up a little bit. I had to make an adjustment. So yeah, you just take your time.
Could you keep on folding and not? I notice you're creasing the folds. Can you wait to make sure that before? Can you finish doing the accordion and then crease everything to make sure you don't have to do any adjustments?
If you can figure out how much you need on the end, the reason I go from back to front is because I'm not going to need all this paper. If you could figure out how much you need, I guess you could. I've never done it that way, Robin. But just because I don't do it that way doesn't mean it can't be done.
I just figure I'm going to screw it up when I do this.
but you know what? I mean, is there a way to screw it up? I just don't think that you can. I mean, just go slow and make adjustments along the way. As you saw when I was folding, I wanted to make sure that it was, lined up. That I didn't want one page to be higher than the other.
Okay.
every time you fold, I mean, even this one, see the page isn't exactly right, but I'm okay with that. I don't need it to be perfect as long as it's, you know,
It's
not
handmade.
wonky.
It's a handmade item.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but it's a junk journal. It's intended to not be perfect. So to me, I think that's perfect because now I have some edges showing. You've seen in my journals how I have things sticking out. And, you know, we're going to have things sticking out anyway. So I don't even think it matters. But what I would say is just take your time doing it. You know, just make sure that when you fold it, that your paper is not too wonky. You still want it to be like a book, you know, so just kind of keep an eye on that. All right. So now that we're at the edge, let me fold this back. I'll show you where we're at here.
Oh, okay. I get it. I get it.
Okay. So here is where we're at. All right. So this is page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4. All right. So we're going to work on adding this now, this top part. Okay. So what I would say, 1, 2, 3, 4, is you're going to need to fold. See, you have a little bit left here. So you're going to need to fold it over. Where's my, let me figure this out here. Give me a second.
Oh, no.
All right. So I can't remember what I did. Let me think here a second. I may have added, I think I added a little piece here just to have more fold over. It's not going to really show. So if you have any scrap left over from your page that you did, maybe just add a little piece at the end so we have more to fold over and more for your tag to grab onto. So I'm just going to add a little bit more just to give it more to grab onto. I don't think you need to do that, but I don't remember if I did that originally. You guys following what I'm doing here? When I folded the last piece over, I only had about that much, but I want more for the paper to grab onto. So I'm going to add a little piece here. And then I'm just going to tip it. So, and I'm glad that happened because I want you to know that when you're making something, if you need to make little adjustments along the way, that's okay. You know, just when you're putting it together with all of my projects, I have an idea of where I want to go, but the path to get there can change from time to time. So, you know, when you're putting something together, if you get to the edge, like I did right here, and I folded it over, I'm like, well, you know, wait a minute, am I short? On my first journal, I might have actually added more paper. I can't really remember. This prototype was made months ago. So maybe I did. I can't remember. I thought I only used 3. Maybe I used 3.5. But my point is, it doesn't really matter. That's why I gave you that whole package of paper, because you have a lot of paper to work with. So just add a little bit more, you know, if it's going to make it a little bit secure for us to be able to put our tag down, then that's what we're going to do. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and figure out my last fold, which is right here, right?
And you're leaving that extra paper there too.
For right now, I am, because I'm going to kind of figure out what I need to do, and then we'll go from there. I mean, unfortunately or fortunately, a lot of my projects I make up along the way, so we'll get there. All right, so we want to, now for this, the top piece, make sure I'm on camera. This is important. You want to make sure when you glue it down that you line it up with your back piece. Okay, so we've already got our back piece glued. Are you following me? We've got our back piece glued. When you glue down the top piece, if you're using liquid glue, and again, this is why I love liquid glue, because it gives me movement time. You want to make sure that you line them up, because you don't want this one higher than the bottom. You don't want this one lower. You want your front and your back to line up. Okay, so that's really important. So let's go ahead and glue this down. Check myself here.
So your added piece that you did actually will match up to make it another full fold. Correct? Or is it slightly shorter?
Yeah, it's not going to be full because it's going to get cut. You see this piece right here? It's flush, just like this piece was flush.
Right.
This piece is going to be flush. If I were to just glue this down and leave it, I've got this extra stuff here. But that extra piece that you just added isn't even going to show, because we're going to glue it, we're going to cut it.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to cover it. So
Okay.
it was just a piece to be able to give us something to grab onto.
It just happened to end up folding to the exact size of the rest of your fold. So
It did, yeah.
Good job.
Yeah, I know, right? I planned that. No. And I'll say this: if again, it's your journal. If you add that extra piece and you like this extra edge hanging out, you can leave it. I don't leave it because I add things on my edges, and that's why I like my tag to be shorter. But if you like the paper sticking out, it's your journal. You can do whatever you want. I just don't do it that way. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and add my glue. Let's figure this out. Now, when you're adding your tag, don't glue it all the way to the edge, okay? Again, you want to line it up with your back tag. So if you're adding the glue to your paper, don't put it all over. And then I'm going to go ahead and just lie this down, knowing I'm going to need to adjust it. So when I adjust it, I hit the bottom, then I know that's lined up, and then I just adjust it to make sure my edges are lined up. Doesn't have to be perfect. You might be a eensy bit off, but you want it to be able to stand up. Now it's not going to stand up yet, because when we start adding paper, we add paper to hit the bottom of your journal. Let me show you. So this pocket here, your edge is here, right up here, but the pocket comes down to the tag length. And that's how you get it to stand up. If you want to stand it up. So right now it's not going to stand up because your paper is shorter than your tags. But once we start adding the pockets and whatnot, it will. All right. So that's the base of your journal, ladies. I mean, that's pretty much it for the base. You know, kind of reinforce it. Like I said, I'm going to trim this edge off because that's the way I like mine. You don't have to, but that's how I do it. All right. Any questions on what we've done so far?
Looks nice.
Thanks. All right. So now that we have the front and the back, now we want to add our paper for the inside. So you should have picked out, or if you haven't, you're going to need to pick out paper for the inside of your tag. And that's, you know, that's this piece right here. Okay. All right. So let me pick out some paper. Let's see. I just love this paper pack that Paula put together. I think it's wonderful. I just love the images.
Still wish it was 12 by 12.
I know. Me, who said that? Robin, did you say that? I hate
Yes.
that. I hate that they got rid of the 12 by 12. I hate that.
I mean, even the 8 by 8 was better.
Yeah, I know. I hear you. All right. So I don't know what I want to use. All right, I guess I'll use this. It's kind of dark.
That'll fit right there. All right, I guess I'll do that. All right. Now, I found, you might not find this, but I found doing the inside was a little bit more difficult because when you trim it, you've got all this nonsense to work with. So just do all I can say is do the best you can. So when you glue it down, you're going to have to trim around it. So. All right, so yeah, once I have it glued, as you can see, I turned it over so I can line it up with the edge. You can't really line it up with the edge because you've got this paper here, but just eyeball it. I mean, it's not going to necessarily show. You're going to trim this, but you don't want to have excess if you don't need to. So I'm just doing my best to line it up, and then I'll trim it.
Does your craft knife cut that Tim Holtz glass mat or scratch it?
No, it does not because it's what did he call it?
Tempered glass.
Tempered, thank you. Yes, it's tempered glass, and it's meant for that. So no, it does not scratch it at all.
Okay.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, because I have one and I'm afraid of, you know.
No, that's what he
Using it.
designed. Yeah, that's what he designed it for, is to be able to cut on it.
Ah,
Yeah, I love it. The only thing I don't like about it is my light. You can see my little
Yeah.
light here. I don't like that it shines when I'm taping, but I can't do anything about that. All right, so there you go. So now you have your
Perfect.
inside covered. Yep. And then again, I'm going to take my sander and I'm going to sand. I like to sand out. That was a bad example. Sand out. And then all this little excess paper comes off. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, if you sand out, it just smooths it out. Okay. That's right. Okay, full disclosure, I'm going to show you my mistake here so you won't do it. All right. So when I put my paper, I didn't pull it up far enough. Do you see that? So I didn't cover my tag enough. I don't know if you can see it. You can barely, it's barely. But this is where this stuff comes into play. That's why I said don't throw away your scraps, because you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to just add that at the top. So that's why I keep my scraps for my mistakes. But you know what? It's not a mistake. It just is an extra embellishment.
It's a happy mistake.
So that's why when I'm creating these journals, I don't throw away any of my scraps until I'm completely finished, because I might want to use them to fix imperfections, you know. So, and everyone's gonna think that that's what I meant to do.
yeah.
Except for you guys, you'll know.
I don't think we would have noticed that had you not said anything.
That's right.
Full disclosure. And that's why, you know, when a lot of people see my finished work, they're like, oh my gosh, it's perfect. I'm like, believe me, it's not perfect. You just don't see the imperfections.
Say thank you very much.
I know, right?
I find it amazing.
What's that?
I said I find it amazing that you just sit down and you create these things.
You know, but it takes me a minute, Robin. Like I said, to put together that Halloween one took me 4 days. It took me 4 days to figure out what I want, because it doesn't always come to me. I have an idea of what I want. I started my first prototype and I threw it away because I didn't like it. And you know, if I'm gonna, truth be told, if I'm gonna put a class together, I want it to be worthwhile. So if I'm not happy with it, I'm not gonna sell the class. So I take a lot of time in my prototypes to make sure it's perfect.
I'm looking forward to that. I love Halloween.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun class. It's a awesome journal. I have to tell you, I like it better than this one, to be honest with you.
With those scary guys.
Yes. All right.
And when did you say you're going to have that? So to sign up, like in a few months?
Probably.
Or is it in the fall?
It's going to be in the fall, but I have to order the kits. So
Right. Okay.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the seat registration out probably at the end of the month.
Got you.
And then the kits you can order probably in a month.
Okay.
So I got to get an idea of how many people sign up to know how many kits to order.
That makes sense.
Yeah. All right. All right. So I think on the list of supplies, I recommended, I don't know if I suggested, I think I did, some sort of collage medium. So Mod Podge, collage medium. I like this because I can just stick my finger in it. And so if I'm adding paper and I just need a little extra glue, I just add collage medium just to make sure it sticks down. All right. So that's the inside front. Now let's do the inside back. Let's see if this one I can not make a mistake.
There are no mistakes.
All right, what color am I going to use? Let's see. What is this?
I don't hear Max. Where's Max?
You know, he's not in here. I'm not sure where. Yeah, surprisingly, he's not in here. I'm not sure where he's at. Yeah, but if he was in here, you would hear him. For those of you that don't know Max, I have a little French bulldog, and he likes to snore when I'm doing my lives, and everybody can hear him. He's very cute. Though.
It's
Yeah,
cute.
he's a cute bulldog. All right, so I'm just trying to figure out which side I want here. All right, Teresa, I know you're working along. Are you good?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm always a little behind, but I always seem to catch up. So I'm good.
Good. Yeah. All right. And if you're going to do these, I know some people like to give these as gifts. So what I would recommend, if you are going to do these as gifts for Christmas, I mean, because you can, as you can see, you can do this with any type of paper. We're doing it as a spring journal, but you can do it as any type of journal. If you want to make several, what I would recommend is do several of the book bases. So what we're doing right now, make, however many gifts you're going to make 2 or 3. And then when you go to decorate them all at the same time, because it'll be a lot easier for you than to do one and then do the second one and then do the third one. So not every journal is going to be the same, decorated, but you'll use the same type of things, right? So that's what I would recommend if you're going to do them as gifts. And they make wonderful gifts. Or you can keep them for yourself. I know a lot of us like to do that. All right. Okay. So when I went to set up the second link for, when I had to give you guys another link, I had said I was going to do it on YouTube. And then when I went to do it, I thought, I can't, you're not able to do a live and share it to just a few people. If you go live, everybody can join.
Everybody.
So I thought, oh God, I can't do that. So I had to go back and do it through my website. So that's why it took me a minute. Because I actually went to do it on YouTube and I'm like, that's not going to work. You plan and then
Technology.
get little hiccups along the way. There we go. All right. Nice. And I'm just kind of cleaning up my edges with my X-Acto knife. And then again, get your sander. Once you've got your paper glued down, sand outward is what I recommend. And then add your ink. All right, and there is our accordion book.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Ready to be decorated. All right, so now the fun starts. So in your kit, you have lots of embellishments. This is where you get to do whatever you want. What I would say is kind of think about, you know, before you start jumping in and gluing everything down, think about what you want to do. Do you want this to be more of a, I don't know, maybe more masculine, even though it's got pastels? Maybe you want to put a man figure in here. Do you want to do more florals? Do you want to do, you know, just kind of think about it before you start gluing down. I mean, I don't think there's any direction that would be bad, to be honest with you. The kits coordinate really well with the ephemera. So I think you're going to be safe with whatever you do, but kind of think about it. So when I was kind of thinking about what I wanted to do, I picked out, and I'm going to say you didn't get a full pack of everything because I had to split up the packs. But, you know, go through your images, figure out what image you want to do. So that's the first thing I would do before you jump in and start decorating. Kind of think about the direction you want to go. So not everybody's going to have this image, but look through your images and figure out, you know, what you want to do here. So I'm going to use this one. And when you glue it, don't cut the pieces in half. Don't get over ambitious and cut the pieces in half. What I would say is take your middle element, glue it to the photo first, because depending on what photo you choose, you might have to go into the next photo. So if you were to cut this, you might be short. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind. So glue before you cut. You may not have to glue it all the way to the edge, but if you need to, you know, you can. But you just want to make sure that this photo that you choose fits in your frame. So that's what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to glue my photo to my frame. All right, and then once you have your photo glued to your frame, then you can figure out where you want this. Now, again, before you start gluing, I always, and I'm going to say this several times, always place my items before I glue. Don't get your item and glue. Figure out your layout before you start gluing. So knowing that I'm going to have maybe a little sign, I'm going to have my little embellishment, stars, lay them out first before you glue down, because once you glue it down, ladies, it may not be forgiving. So do your layout and then glue. So I'm going to go ahead and do my cover here. I know I'm going to use a chipboard. I don't necessarily have to do this because I think I'll be fine. But keep an eye, whatever stars you have. Some of the packets have 2 stars. Some of them have 3, depending on the sizes. Make sure you leave enough room on your placement to add your stars. You don't have to use the stars. It's your journal. You don't have to do any of this. You can do whatever you want, but this is what I'm doing. Inside of your packet, just to give you a few more ideas, I think I gave you guys some of these vintage reels.
Yep.
Another idea is you can layer it on top if you wanted to. So if you wanted to add another piece of embellishment, you can add a layer behind it. If you wanted to add something from the kit, and I'm just going to grab a piece of paper here. Maybe you want to add some ephemera. Maybe you want to add, you can do whatever you want. So just because I did mine pretty simply, you can do whatever you want. On this particular one, as you can see, I added the rose on the edge. Oh, I'm flickering again. I added this rose on the edge. So that's an idea as well. Just kind of go through your ephemera pack and see if there's anything you want to add to your to the top of your tag before you start gluing. So just this, and this is where it takes me 4 days to put together journals, because I go through everything before I glue, figure out what I want. But yeah, I think this would be really cute, I think, to be able to add that. And I think it would fit perfectly. It's not over the edges. I might add this to mine, actually, because I like the way that looks. But that's an idea as well. Go ahead.
You're talking about each page, doing the layout for each page before you glue it.
Yeah.
The whole book.
Well, each page is mostly just pockets. So I'm not overly concerned about layouts. I mean, for this one, I might think about it. But where I have pockets and I'm sticking things in, I don't necessarily have to do a full layout. This is a pull out. But it's where I'm going to have a finished page. This was a pocket. This has pull outs.
Okay.
But if you have a complete layout where you want it to be cohesive, I would say kind of figure that out first. I mean, if I would have gotten ambitious and glued this down, then when I put through my pack, I would say, well, I'm out of luck. So kind of look through your ephemera pack, see if there's anything you want to add to your cover before you glue your cover. So I'm going to add that slide. I think that looks really good. Let's see. I mean, even on mine, I did this rectangle. If you wanted to do an oval here, I think I gave you some ovals in your kit. I'm just looking through my sayings here.
Do you go to old garage sales? Where on earth did you find that old ViewMaster slide?
So my husband has a shop on Etsy. It was my shop, but since I start crafting more, he took it over. And he sells vintage ViewMasters and ViewMaster reels.
Oh.
And when he gets his lots or finds his lots, they're not always perfect. So this one, as you can see, it's missing one of the slides. I don't know if you can see that right there. So he gives me the bad ones, and I craft them. So,
God, I remember those as a kid.
And I have my shop where you signed up for the class. I sell vintage items. So I have a lot of vintage items. And I think on my last newsletter, you guys should be on my newsletter by now. But if you're not, on my last newsletter, I shared my most recent find. I found these old P.O. boxes and the what do you call it? The door.
I saw that.
I found hundreds of those. So I'm a picker. If you know what that means, I go out and I look for old stuff, and then I bring it back and I sell it. So and that's how I can afford to buy Tim Holtz stuff. But yeah, I have all that in my shop.
Now your shop is listed under your videos, right? Or is
it is, or you can always find me, Taylormadecards4u.com. Also,
okay.
on the newsletters that you get, you should have links to my shop as well.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So I'm just going to kind of, I know that's going to go there.
She also does Instagram sales too.
I do. Yeah. So when I send you after our class, I'll send you all my links if you don't know where I'm at. So you'll have it.
I wanted to show you guys something. So one of my friends' husbands is a woodworker, and he found the postage.
Oh, I love it.
And then he made banks out of them.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, so that just reminded me when you said that.
Yeah, that is fantastic.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, the doors that I have the hinges on the side, so you could totally build a box into it.
Yeah, I just thought that was a really creative thing of what he did.
They're very, very cute.
Very nice.
All right. Okay, so for my tag, I still have enough room for my metal element up here, so I left room for that, and then I still have room for my stars. But I did have to put the Viewmaster a little bit underneath my my chipboard, which is fine. All right. I guess I probably should have glued this down first, though. All right, we're still wet. Right, and then I'm going to glue my frame, and then we'll start working on the inside. Be very generous with the glue on these frames. They are a little bit heavy for books, and you just want to make sure that it's going to adhere.
Did you use that fabric glue?
No, this is the 3-in-1
paper. 3-in-1.
3-in-1 beacon. Yeah, I live by this.
It's in the same kind of bottle, so I didn't know.
It is. Yeah, I used to use the fabric one, but the 3-in-1 beacon is a lot cheaper than the fabric one. Since I was just using it for paper. Yeah.
And do you just get that at Joann's or whatever?
I do.
Okay.
Yep, that's exactly where I get it.
Beautiful. But it's, I guess it is the same brand though too, huh?
It is. Yep.
Okay.
It is.
All right.
All right. So it's funny when you start out your book. I mean, look how thin that is compared to this one. So it's going to get really thick along the way. All right. Okay. So now that we've got our theme kind of figured out, right, or what picture we're going to use, now we can start decorating. So a lot of the pages inside the kit, hold on a second here, got glue all over my hands. A lot of the pages are pockets. So that's what we're going to do first, is we're going to kind of go through the book and we're going to figure out where our pockets are going to be. For class sake and for time's sake, I'm going to copy my layout exactly as this one. So I'm going to follow along. Again, this is your journal. You don't have to do it exactly the way that I want to, or that I'm going to, but this is how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to put a pocket. My first page will have like a little paper doll. So we can come back to that. So we're not going to do that one right now. But you're going to want to put like some sort of paper doll. I would make it flat on your edges. I wouldn't make it bulky. Well, I lied, I guess. This one's a little bulky. But I wouldn't make it bulky on the very first page. On my second page, we're going to figure out a pocket here. All right. And I'm just going to flip through. This third page here, we're going to do another pocket. This page here, we're going to do a tuck. Okay. So I'm just kind of showing you what my layout is. Again, we've got another pocket. And this is a double pocket. I've got a pocket here under the blue. And then I've got a pocket under my ephemera. So what you're going to want to do these pockets, go through your ephemera bag, pull out the ones that would make good pockets and separate them from the rest. Okay. So that's what I'm going to do right now. This particular bigger one is paper. So, if you want to find something that's going to make a bigger pocket, you can do that as well. Again, this is paper, but I did find the ephemera piece. So go through your ephemera, pick out ones that would make good pockets. And then on the last page here is a side pocket. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to go through my pieces to pick out my pockets. This is where the desk is very messy.
Hey, that's the fun.
Oh, yeah. All right. So, I mean, even like some of these smaller pieces that will probably just be embellishments, this is how I work. I kind of separate my ephemera pieces based on what I'll probably use them for. So I still have choices, but, I kind of know what I'm going to use them for. So my larger pieces, I'll put in one packet or one pile. We'll kind of go from there.
How do you keep these organized? I mean, after you're done with this project,
I get these at Hobby Lobby. And this is where I put my
okay,
ephemera.
is that all one type? I mean,
it is. Yeah.
Okay.
It is.
It's like the photo savers or something, right? Photo organizers?
Yep. That's exactly right. That's how I organize my ephemera. But I'll say it, I'm ridiculous. I have way too much ephemera, but I like choices. The last thing I want to do is sit down to do a project and I have in mind what I want to do and I can't find a piece that I want.
Mm-hmm.
So I have way too much. I'll admit it. I have a problem.
No, I don't see that as a problem.
All right, so this little piece here is perfect for a pocket. So I've separated that to use as a pocket. Here's another piece that would make a good pocket. So yeah, that's just what I'm doing. I'm just going to kind of separate and see what I want to do here.
Monica, I looked at a house last week and it was an elderly lady and they said that it was a lot of clutter. So we went through there and this lady had traveled the world and she had like Oriental things. She had a whole wall of African masks.
Uh-huh.
It was all things, the whole house was things like that.
Wow.
And I was walking, that's what I did. I walked around the house and said, oh my God, look at that. I said, I would have moved right in with everything in there.
Yep, that's fantastic.
And I just hope the person that bought the house cherishes it as much as that lady did. Oh, it was just wonderful.
So you said you're moving, right?
Yes. We lost my brother-in-law a couple months ago, and so my husband really doesn't have anybody here.
I see.
So he wants to move. My daughter wants to move closer. It's just like going to Syracuse. It's
Okay.
not, so we're looking for something
I see.
for elderly people.
Oh, okay.
No,
Okay.
like I'm trying to find something on one floor.
No, I hear you.
But I couldn't
All
believe that lady's house. It was beautiful.
Yeah, we living in Prescott, there's a lot of elderly people, and there's a lot of estate sales. So I go to a lot of estate sales and find a lot of my stuff there. Okay, so I just kind of went through my pack and picked out what I thought would make good pockets, and I'm just gonna start doing it here. All right, so let's see here. So my first page here, I had paper and then I added ephemera to it. So let's do that. So, oh, this is perfect. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to tear the edges, all right? And then determine how big you want your pocket. So this particular pocket here is about, I don't know, about 2 1/4, maybe between 2 1/4 and 2 1/2. So get a piece and you want to have it the width of your book. So figure out how long your page is, depending on how you folded it, right? It should be about around 5 inches, maybe a little less than 5 inches, but you want it to be the width. And then when you do your pocket, this is where, let's see here. Do you see where this page is shorter than the actual tag? When you do your pocket, you want your tag to come down to where you want your pocket to come down where the tag is, but of course your pocket's only going to be that much. Does that make sense? Part of your paper is going to be longer. So when you glue it, don't glue the edge because you're not going to have anything to glue it onto. You want to be aware of where your glue lines are going to be. But that's how you're going to get your book to stand up, because your pockets and your inserts are going to be longer than your pages. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. And I speak from experience. You can get very ambitious doing your glue. You know, you got your paper, you're doing your glue, and you're like, oh, I don't need glue down there. So just, I share my mistakes with you.
Now, will you go through and do all your pockets throughout the journal?
I'm going to. Yep, I'm going to, so you guys can see how the layouts are, because I don't know. It's already 2 o'clock. We're going to go till 3:30, so we have another hour and a half. But I'm going to kind of move fast here, just for time's sake. And you guys can come back to the video, but I want you to see the layouts on each pages. So we should be able to do that in an hour and a half. And then you guys can add your little, you know, like this pocket here has the little clip with an insert. You guys can decide what you put in your pockets. I'll let you decide that. We're just going to do the layout. Does that sound reasonable?
Yep.
Yep. All right. Perfect. All right. So again, we're going to tear more paper because that's what we do. There's Max. He's in here now. Hey, Maxie.
I hear him.
Hey, buddy. You're fine. You're okay. All right. All right, so you're going to want to, once I got my 2 sides trimmed, kind of figure out where my edge is to start me out. So I just got my ruler to figure it out to start me with my tear. Oops, how are we tearing this? All right. Oh, I didn't go long enough. That's okay. It'll work. And then let's see, how long do I want this? All right. Okay, so once I have my pocket, again, I didn't tear it long enough. You might want to just kind of be a little bit more conscious about that. I'll put ephemera piece. It doesn't have to go from edge to edge. My first one did. This one won't. It's not a big deal. Every piece of paper that I tear, I always distress. So just kind of make that your habit. Honestly, I think this is what takes most of the time is the little details. All right. And then I'm going to, again, be aware of where your glue line is to glue your pocket. So my glue line starts about right here. So use your thumb, do whatever you need to do. Don't glue the top, that's a pocket. All right. And then just, again, when you're laying it down, be aware of where your glue line is. All right. Don't smush your book down, because if you did go over with your glue, it'll stick to your page. So when you get that glued, turn your page, check to make sure you're okay with your glue. You don't want you to glue your pages together. And you can easily do that, believe me. So just be aware. Open it up, make sure you haven't glued your pages together. And then just make any adjustments. That's why I love liquid glue. And now we have a little pocket. Now, on my original book, I added an ephemera piece here. You can do that. You cannot do that. You know, do whatever you want. I think this is perfect. Even though I'm going to cover this up, I'm okay with that because I like this pink. So I'm going to just add this. Now, when you're adding ephemera pieces for embellishments, if you want to make a double pocket, my original one wasn't, but if you want to make a double pocket, you know, when you glue this, leave the top open so you can have double pockets. Okay, so that's just a little trick also. I'm going to leave it as a double pocket. So I'll just glue the edges. Okay. Torn off pieces of paper, if you want to match, you know, I'm going to go ahead just because I had this laying here and I thought, oh, that's perfect for on top. I'm going to add this to the top. So when you're tearing your pieces of paper, don't throw away your scraps. I think I've said that several times because you can use that as embellishments. Also, if you have your scraps that are large enough, keep in mind, not maybe this page, but you can use them as tucks. So if you want to use, you know, maybe a scrap as a tuck, then don't glue the whole thing down. Just maybe glue, you know, the edges. But these little pieces up here for your bigger items, you know, can be used as tucks. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. I'm not going to use it as a tuck, but I wanted to show you. I do that on some of my journals. All right. Now, I know some people have asked me, why do I decorate or why do I embellish the page when I just like add things over it? Or if I cover it up, like this piece here had a really nice, you know, typography. Why do I cover it? For me, and this is where I'm comfortable with, I consider myself pretty good at doing collages and layering. I think about the finished product, the finished project, I don't think about, oh my gosh, I'm covering up a piece of ephemera. I think about how I want it to look, and I think collages look great. So don't get too hung up. I know a lot of people struggle with that. Don't get too hung up on covering items because you're looking for the finished project. All right, so that's the first page. I know it looks plain, but we're gonna stick things in here, and we're gonna make it look really fun. So that could be a page right there. You have edges. This is where, let me find something here. This is where these little pieces in your ephemera kit come into play. These are great for the edges. So if I wanted to, put something here, I don't know if I'm going to use this one here, but these little pieces here are wonderful. We lost Teresa. I just noticed that. Teresa, we lost you.
I was sneezing and I didn't think you were going to watch.
I just looked up and I'm like, we lost Teresa.
I'm not a pretty sneezer.
So these are great for the edges. Another thing that it's really great for the edges are my favorite items here. These are my remnant rubs. So if you've never used these before, let me go ahead and demonstrate.
I love rub-ons.
Me too. They are my favorite.
And I'm very glad you shared those with us.
Of course. Of course. All right.
Numbers.
Yes, yes. All right. So that's exactly what I'm going to figure out here. Let's see if I can find a reasonable size pair of scissors. All right. So let's just get some numbers here. 5, 0. So I've seen other people where they just actually rub them off on their full sheet. I don't, because then my other pieces stick. So I cut out the piece that I want. I gave you guys popsicle sticks, but I bought this stylus since I use remnant rubs so much. And then they're very easy to use. So you just put it wherever you want it. I'm going to put mine on the edge right here. And then just take your popsicle stick and just press down. Be careful when you're lifting them up. If it doesn't completely stick, just go back and work it. Don't get zealous and pull it off, because you might miss some pieces. So just lift it slow and then correct it as you go along. And there you go. So look at that. Yeah. I love it. All right. Any questions on remnant rubs? These are the type of things I typically go back after my journal's finished and I add them as extra fill-ins. But I wanted to share with you for your edge, these smaller pieces, like I said, are great. The remnant rubs are really great for this as well. Can't remember what else I gave you in my kit, but anything that's long and skinny are great for the edges. Let's see. Okay, so that's our first page. Let's go to our second page. Our second page is where I made a pocket. Do you guys have circle punches? If you don't, it's not a big deal. But what I did on this pocket is I created the thumb notch, I think is what it's called. So that's what I did on this page right here.
I'll go get one.
And then what I did also is I took one of these little pieces here and I glued the edges to create another little pocket. Okay, so that's what we're going to do next.
Where is the thumb notch? I can't see it.
It's right here.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Oh, I see. Yeah. Yep, I see it.
Okay, now additionally on this page, I have this big piece sticking out. So your journal, if you want to add that, great. I'm going to, because I like things sticking out. But find a piece that maybe will pop out or not. Let's see. And you don't even necessarily need to add that right now. That could be after the fact. So I'm going to kind of look through all of my stuff. So I'm not going to add mine yet. But this is where, you know, you can have stuff sticking out as well. All right, so let's pick out some paper for our pocket. Let's see here. All right, so I'm going to go with this one here. Let's figure out how big I want it. And again, when you're adding your pocket, this was our, see, it's already sticking. I got to be careful. That was our first pocket. So when you do your second pocket, make sure, again, you bring it down to the edge. Let's figure this out. That's already torn, and then let me figure out my edge here. All right. See, and this is perfect. That'll be perfect for another piece. Nice little embellishment. All right, so here's another pocket. Get my circle punch, create a little thumb notch. This is completely optional, but you know, I like every page to be a little different, so that's why I decided to add a thumb notch on that one. You don't have to, it's purely for design. All right. And then when you glue it, keep in mind you're not gluing all the way to the edge. So probably, let's see, maybe around there. All right. And then set her down. Let's see. Always test your pages as you go along. Make sure they're not stuck together. Make sure that they still fold shut. The last thing you want to do is glue it over the other page, and then you can't close it. So, you know, glue it, check it, adjust it as you need to. Check the other side. Make sure we're not gluing anything. Yeah, here, see, I've got glue here, so make sure you're okay with that. And I don't sweat that, because when I work the other side, this is going to get covered, so I don't sweat it. All right. All right, so there's your second pocket. We're going to put another little pocket here. So find a little piece here, right? And it's going to be like a belly band, but it's a very small belly band. So when you glue it down, just glue the edges. All right, and then it's a perfect little pocket for your smaller items. So let's start filling this. We'll come back to this because we're going to decorate these. And then let's see, what do we got here? To me, this is the funnest part, is adding these little embellishments. But you get the idea, right? So that's just like a little pocket just for additional embellishment.
Yeah, that's clever. I've never seen that.
Oh, thanks.
That little piece at the bottom. That's clever. I like that.
Now, if you've got lots of embellishment pieces in here, you've got, teacups, you've got butterflies, you can embellish this pocket as much or as little as you want. I like the writing, so I'm going to leave mine pretty simple. But, if you want to add more embellishments, I'll leave that up to you to do that. Okay. Now, on my other journal, let's see if I can find my pieces. I don't even know where that is. I can't find it. This ready-made clothing, I think it was part of this. I hope I didn't grab it from another ephemera kit. But anyway, if you have oversized labels, you can add them on top to stick out as well. So don't be afraid to have things sticking out.
Yes, it's part of this.
Is it? Okay, I can't find mine, but yeah, if you want to, that's the page that I added this. Let me make sure I'm not lying here. Yeah, this third one. So to add that piece, if you wanted to add that here, just put it half the glue, because part of it's sticking off. So that's where I added that piece. Stick that right there. All right. Okay, so let's move on to the third page. Does anybody have any questions? Am I moving too fast, or are we good? Good? Okay.
I'm good.
All right, perfect. All right. So the next piece we're going to work on is, let's see here, is this piece right here, okay? So this is the piece that has the little tuck. Remember I said that we can have little tucks? I think I showed you on the top. Well, this is a side tuck. And then this is an ephemera piece. This back piece is actually something from something else. But you can add one of your people to this and add it as a little side tuck. Or ephemera, or letters. I mean, there's anything you can stick in here. But that's what I did on this page, is I created a little side tuck. So that's what we're going to do next. All right, so let's see what I used. I don't even know what I used. If you don't have an ephemera piece to do that, also you can create something with your paper as well. So you can do, if you don't find something that you want to use something off of your paper. I'm going to use this. All right. So, how big is this? All right, so for the tuck piece, very simple. You're going to glue it just on the edge. Now, for my book, my prototype, I didn't glue it all the way to the edge. I glued it out a little bit because I did a remnant rub right here. Okay? So if you want to kind of follow that design, you want it to be a little bit farther. Also, this is where my paper overlapped, if you can see that. Remember I told you that I cut one of the 3 pieces in half and I kind of mixed it up a little bit. So if you don't like the plain background, dig into your stack and add a background, you know, and it's as easy as this. Find a piece of scrap paper, tear it, and glue it. So if you don't, you know, and it doesn't even have to fit the whole page. It can just be part of it because remember, you're going to add this. So if you feel the need to, you know, add some contrast, then that's how I would do it. And I'm going to do that. So depending on your background, you know, I don't know what background you chose for your paper. If part of your background is plain and you don't want it to be plain, take some of the scrap out of your paper that I gave you in your kit and just add it to it. I didn't even need to tear this because it's going underneath that. All right. So this is just going to give us some more interest on the background. That's all I'm doing here. And I'm going to glue this completely on each side, on all the sides and in the middle, because this is going to be a background. So you want to make sure it's glued nicely. All right. And then this is going to be my tuck piece. So I'm going to add a little bit of glue to the edge. And then keeping in mind where my edge is, I'll just add this piece right there. All right. Anybody have any questions about that page? The pretty simple page. From here, what I'll do is I'll add embellishments. So let me share with you this page. So this particular page is this one here. So as you can see, I have this. Let's just for ease, you know, you can add an embellishment, you can add a picture, whatever you want your tuck to be. Let's just pretend that this is it right here. All right, for argument's sake. I'm going to go ahead and I'll put this little embellishment here. Whatever embellishment you want to add, you can add here. So I'm going to work around the photo because I know that I'm going to have that tuck. And I'll add my extra embellishments. I'm also going to add some more remnant rubs. So I think the shipment collected would be perfect to go right here.
I just have to say, I am sorry I didn't get that kit.
Who's speaking?
Betty Crawford.
Betty, you didn't buy one of the kits?
No.
You didn't.
I told you it wasn't in my budget at the time.
Oh, I thought you came back and bought it after the fact. Yeah. Oh man.
I know, but I have a lot of Tim Holtz's ephemera and paper and stuff. So I'm sure with looking at your video, hopefully I'm going to be able to put one together because this looks like so much fun. I've
Yes.
never done a journal.
Betty, I have some of the items, but not everything. After we're done with the class, I'm going to go back and see what I have and see if I can put a kit together for you. I have the paper. Yeah, I have the paper. I have the major things. Like I have the paper. I have the frame. I have these. I just don't know if I have everything. So if you're fine with that,
I'll buy with whatever you put together.
It will be generous, I promise you. It just may not be exact because I don't
No, that's fine.
Okay, yeah, I can do that for you. And
Oh,
then
wow.
when I
I'd be
get
more than happy to share my stuff with her too.
Oh, that's nice of you. When I have it listed, Betty, I'll send you the link to the shop for it.
Okay.
All right, yeah, I can do that. Like I said, I just didn't have a full kit anymore.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of the major stuff. All right.
And if I'll share mine. So if you need extra, so just let me know.
Oh, Robin, that's very nice of you.
Not a problem. I have a lot. I have a lot of Timmy stuff.
Oh.
Betty, you have the most lovely voice. I love your voice.
Well,
Betty.
thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate that.
I want you to read me stories. Very nice.
Thank you. Thank you, Teresa.
Oh my gosh. All right.
I hope Tim doesn't stop making
I know.
those.
Yeah,
What do you?
We
The
need
The
to-
remnant rubs.
Yeah, and you know what? He's told us he might because people don't
Yep.
buy them. I don't know
I
why.
can't. I don't understand that.
When I've done videos using these, people sometimes comment saying this is the first time they've ever seen it, and I'm like, where have you been? I mean, I love them.
And there were remnant rubs when we were kids. I think I'm a little bit older than you guys, but I remember using popsicle sticks to use remnant rubs on something. I don't remember what, but they're the perfect, to stick something in that missing little spot.
Absolutely. They're the perfect size, and then you don't have to worry about stamping because I have stamps that are small, but
You don't want to ruin the whole project.
exactly. Thank you. Yeah, you finished my sentence. Because that's where you're really taking a chance stamping after the fact.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you get the idea. This is a perfect page to add more remnant rubs.
Well, Monica, when you talk to Tim, would you tell him to do a Saturday remnant rub?
A Saturday one?
Yes.
All right. I'll send him an email.
That's true because he is doing a lot of Saturday with how-tos, but he never has done one with the remnants, I don't think.
Yeah.
No,
he doesn't. He talks about them and he shares them with some of his designer makes, but you're right. I just don't know if it could be a full video, to be honest with you, Robin, because it really is just an extra embellishment.
Tim could make it a whole video.
Yeah, he probably could, couldn't he? All right, so you've got your tuck. So whatever your heart desires to tuck in there is perfect. All right, so let's go to the next page. The next page, again, is another pocket, but it's one of those double pockets. But what I really want to focus on is this insert. So this, I want to say this is part of your kit. Can you guys see if you have this autographs? I think it is. If not, I might have. Oh, perfect. All right. So if you don't mind, I showed you how to make a pocket already, so I'm not going to focus on that pocket. What I want to focus on is this. This page here is going to be a pocket. It's a simple pocket. Let me show you. It's a simple pocket that has 2 tucks. So get your paper, tear it, glue it, add your embellishment. Don't glue the top. and then you have 2 pockets. Add some remnant rubs, add a little embellishment here if you want to. That's this page right here. But what I want to focus on is this, because this is my insert that goes in the big pocket. I took this photograph ephemera piece, I turned it over, and I used one of the images. I rounded the corners, I glued it, and that was my insert. Okay, so that's an extra embellishment piece that you can create. I'm not going to create it unless you want me to, but it's very simple. Okay, so you've got your back side. I covered it with paper that I had in my stash. I added the photo, okay, sideways. I added some remnant rubs. These are little remnant rubs here on the side here. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that? Mm-hmm. Okay. If you wanted to get fancy, I think I was fancy. Yeah. I left this as a pocket. So that photo here, when you glue it, leave the top open as a pocket so you can add things. Okay. And then this becomes this
I'm
page.
so sorry.
Okay. So are you guys good with that? I can make the page if you want to, but I don't want to necessarily take the time to do what I've already showed you.
Where did the postcard part at the top?
That's from my personal stash, Robin.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I added that from my personal stash.
Just the
But
label.
yes. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. But if you have these in your kit, you can easily add your own label. I think there's a few labels in here.
Mhm.
You can stamp the label before you start. If you have a postcard, you can add remnant rubs to it. There's a lot of ways you can embellish it. But I just wanted to share with you my insert here. Okay. Do you guys have any questions on that page?
Nope.
Okay, so that's your second to the last page. And then your last page is this one here. This has the side pocket, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to get some paper. I'm going to first find my ruler. That's on my desk somewhere. Do you guys do that when you're creating? You can't find
Yes, yes, yes.
my ruler's here somewhere, but fortunately I've got about 5 rulers. So I can just grab it. All right. Ruler number 2. Here we go. So this is about 2 inches. So 2 inches by, I don't know, 5 inches maybe. So get your piece of paper, cut 2 by 5, and that's going to be your side pocket. It might be a little less than 5 because you want it to fit on your last page. Okay. Does that make sense? Yep. Yep. I see nods. Okay. So let's do that. All right. So
Wow. I'm looking at these pieces. They're so cool.
yeah, the ephemera kit is pretty cool. I like it. All right. So I think that'll work.
Is everybody going to show their book at the end?
I can show you my notes at the end.
I wanted to see everybody's book, everybody's journal.
Therese,
When I send you my email with all my links and whatnot, once you finish your book, send me the photo, and I want to put it on my blog. I want to put all of our photos on our blog. So if you don't mind, if you don't want to, you don't have to. But I would love to be able to share it.
I can't wait to do it.
It's also good advertising for my classes. So, all right. So, okay.
We'll try to do you proud then.
Oh, absolutely.
You will.
Absolutely. You can't go wrong with these, ladies.
No, this
I
is
mean,
really fun.
yeah, there's no wrong way to decorate these books. I mean, putting the book together is a little technical, I'd say, because the book has measurements and you want to make sure that it's lined up. But once you have the book together, there's no wrong decorating. I think the thing that people struggle with are the ideas.
Mhm.
The ideas is where people struggle with. So, and that's what takes me the longest. That's why it takes me so long to do the books, is because coming up with the design ideas. And I'm okay with that. That's why when I post my classes, and that's why I had the time zone issue, because I made that prototype months ago to be able to advertise the class. And even my Halloween book, that's going to be a fall class, and I've already got it made. But it takes me a while to come up with my designs. And even my next class is my plaque, my wall plaque. But then the class after that is the Christmas in July class, and I'm working up the designs for that right now. You guys want to see one of the designs for the Christmas in July class?
Yeah.
Yes.
No one else has seen it. And if you get the kit, you get everything to make what I'm making. So this is one of the.
Oh, that's fun.
Oh.
I like the colors.
Yeah. So this is.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, this is one of the cards I'm making in my class.
I ordered the kit while we were waiting for the second link.
Oh, you did. I think I only have a few left, so that's smart. Because in that kit you get, dies, you get stuff I need to buy. So that's why I'm doing limited kits. But I didn't necessarily want to require the kit because you can still utilize the ideas for other items. Am I flickering again?
Not much.
Okay. But yeah, but it takes me a while, to come up with the ideas. I don't want it to be everything that you can see on YouTube already. I try to make my ideas unique. All right, so there's the side pocket. Now on the side pocket, this is where I added another chipboard and another ephemera piece. I also added this little remnant rub that you get. It's this little thing at the bottom here under the bug.
Oh,
The signature. So it's kind of a signature, and I thought it was cool, but it's only going to work if your paper's, kind of plain. My paper's a little bit busy, so it may not work, but keep that in mind. That's a really great piece to add to your journal. And then on the insert, again, I use that little trick, that little tuck. If you want to use a little tuck, don't glue your ephemera piece here. So,
Will you flip that page like towards your back? I just want to see like flip it till you're on your very end of your book, and then flip that back cover one. Oh, because you're doing the other side too. Okay,
That's
flip
the
it the other way, please. Okay, that's what I was thinking. That's where you put the side
I
pocket.
forgot about the backside.
yep, I get the back side still.
Okay, I couldn't figure out where you were putting your back pocket, so that's perfect. Thank you.
Yep. So here I have a little chipboard. Again, if you want to have that extra pocket as a double pocket for your smaller pieces of ephemera. And then on your back page, I added more remnant rubs. So I'm not going to necessarily go through that process because I want to get to the back side, but I wanted to share with you what I did on this page. Are you guys good? Do you have any questions on that page?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So let's pretend it's all decorated. Close it. Flip it over. You're on the back side now. All right. So this is your back side. That's your front side all decorated. All right. Okay, so we just did the side. I'm closing it. I'm opening it. So this is the back side of your journal. Okay. Does anybody have any questions where we're at right now? We've got about 45 more minutes. So some of the techniques and some of the items I've shown you already, unless it's new, I'm just going to show you what I did for the page, and then we'll go on to the next page because I want to make sure I can show you all my ideas. If you need me to stop, if you need me to do anything, tell me. I want to make sure we use the most of our 45 minutes. Okay. So does anybody have any questions before we start working on the backside? Good? All right. That kind of sounds funny, the backside. Your backside. All right, let me find my glue. I don't know about you guys, but my desk is a hot mess. All right. Okay. Now, let's talk about this a minute. So this is the back. On the back, I did put a little embellishment here. You've got this really cute house that I think would be really cute here. I think you have this little dog in there. That teacup is really cute for the back, or nothing. You know, I didn't want to over embellish the back, but you certainly can because it almost is. I mean, this is truly the front, but you know, when you flip it over, I mean, it does show. But I wanted this to lie flat, depending on how I store it, and that's why I chose not to over embellish it. But certainly, you know, do your book the way you want to do it. But that's why I just did this little dog here because I didn't want to over embellish it. For this one, I think I'm going to do the teacup. So let's do that really quickly.
So you want to use something flat on the back of that?
That's my recommendation because I want my book to be able to lie flat and not wobble. Yeah. You don't have to do it flat, Robin. It's completely up to you, but that's why I chose to do it flat.
No, it makes sense.
There typically is a reason behind my madness.
When you put your package of ephemera in your little photo box, do you mark it as to what it came out of? Like, this is palette.
Yeah, let me show you what I did. The packaging that it comes in, I don't have a good example. I started out organized and then I just started throwing things. The packaging that it comes in usually has
the name,
the backside.
Oh, okay.
So what I typically do is I'll cut the images and I'll stick that.
Oh, okay. So you can
on
just
the
look at
bottom, so it would show. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's when I first started doing my photo boxes. That's how I was doing it, and then I got lazy. But that's how I started out.
It's such a good idea because I have them laying all over the place.
Yeah.
Excellent. I'm going to have to get some of those.
Okay, so that's the back of our journal. I'm going to go ahead and open it up. Now, we're going to talk about this here. So I created a little pocket, and I'm going to show you how I did that. Another thing that I did here on this particular one is I put another one of those chipboards on the top. And then this is, I don't know if I included this in your kit. This is from my personal stash. I had these numbers, but you can do remnant rubs. You can do ephemera pieces, just something long, you know, it's decorated. But this is really what I wanted to show you. This piece here, this chipboard, is off of the edge. So when you glue it, just kind of make note of that you don't want to glue the whole backside, because really you don't want glue bubbles back here, even though, you know, you might be able to save it. If you do put it off the edge, just be aware of that. All right, so I made this little pocket because I wanted to put some of my extra I wanted to put some of my extra photos in here, and I'm going to show you how I did that. So I'm going to move this aside. So find some paper, which I know we have lots of, right? All over our desk. Just something that you want to create with. We'll go with this one. And then find one of your photo images, okay?
I don't know the address.
What's that? Oh, I
don't know what that was.
thought I heard someone say something. Okay. And then you're going to need your scoreboard. And I don't do measurements typically, so I'm going to show you how I do this. So the first thing that I do is I figure out how much I need. So it's going to be a very small flap. So I would say start with a bigger piece of paper. You don't even need to cut it down. Score about not even a half an inch. I'd say probably 3/4, not even. Half an inch is, hold on, I'm doing math. Quarter on your scoreboard, you have 1/4 of an inch, and then you have one more tick. I don't know what that would be. So you know what I'm saying? So you've got your 1/4 of an inch, and then you have an extra tick, and then you have your half an inch. So
That would,
if you do 1/4 of an inch, you're probably fine. But I do the tick over for whatever reason. I don't know why. But you just want to be able to have enough. The goal here is to be able to have enough to fold over and glue. That's why we're doing this. Okay, we're going to make a pocket is what we're doing.
It's kind of like your passport books.
Yes.
Okay.
You know my passport books? Oh my God.
Yes. I love those.
Okay,
When you
that's
first
awesome.
did it, I didn't realize like you had kids, or maybe even it was before you did kids. And I remember just like watching over and over, I'm like, now what's that measurement? Because it didn't look like it was lining up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually, this Sunday in my Sunday Live, I'm going to make a passport book out of my latest kit. So,
Oh, I love making
oh, good.
They're
yeah,
so
I haven't done a passport book in forever, Robin.
I
I don't know
know.
why. All right, so let me think about this. Okay. So this is what's gonna show, because your pocket's gonna come up like this. So that's what I'm trying to figure out here. So my paper is jiggity. It's, if you don't want it torn, you know, trim it. I'm leaving mine like that. I'm fine with that. In my original book, you can see it's straight. It has a straight edge. That I'm going to leave it like that. My pocket is my glasses off, 1.5 inches. So what you're going to do is you're going to score 1.5 inches. Okay. So we've scored 1/4 of an inch, and then we've scored 1.5 inches. And this is going to be our pocket right here. If you want it bigger, you can have it bigger. If you want it smaller, I wouldn't go smaller with it. Actually, I think it might be a little bigger, but I'm fine with where I'm at. So that's your pocket. And then get your scissors. My scissors here. My desk workspace is getting smaller and smaller. All right. And then what you're going to trim, before we do that, let me see how long I want this. That's actually about right. Okay. What you're going to trim is the long piece, okay? Because you want to keep this part, because that's what folds over to glue. So I usually do a little kitty corner cut, and then just cut this. Okay, so what you're going to end up to make your pocket, it'll go like that. Does that make sense? see if I can cut a little straighter than that.
You could tear it.
Yeah, I could, but I want to make sure that my photo fits in it. So I need to kind of be exact. I mean, if I tore it bigger, I probably would be fine. But for these pockets, I just want to make sure my photo fits. All right. Now, this is why I'm not an exact crafter. This is what I do. I stick in the piece that I know is going to go in the pocket, and that's what tells me how much more to score. So I'm just not an exact crafter, ladies. I apologize, but that's how I do it. So I figure out, now I've already got this folded over. I know this is how it's going to be. I just kind of butt it up against my my scoreboard here, figure out how much I need. So remember, you have to leave enough to fold over. So I'm going to score, figure out, how do I explain this? Figure out where your edge is and go about a ½ inch more for your score, and that'll be your cut line. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to score here. This is my cut line. And then this is going to be my fold line, which I'm going to do in just a minute. I want to cut first. So, and if you want to get your paper thinner out for that, you'll have a flat edge. You could do that. And if you don't get the pocket right the first time, I've made mistakes doing the pockets. That's basically how you do it. The mistakes I've made is I've either, cut it too small, scored it too small. It'll still work as a pocket. It just might not work for the piece you're intending it for. But if you work with your item, you should be fine. So now that I know how much I need to score, I'll just figure that out now. That's how I make my pockets. I really can't be bothered for measurements, to be honest with you. That's probably not great for classes. I shouldn't say that. But I don't know. I just kind of make it up as I go along. At the end of the day, it's just paper. So you can always try again if we mess up. I've had people ask me, can you make a kit and just write out all the directions so I don't have to do the class? And I'm like, well,
No.
I don't want to say no, but that's a lot of work.
You're like a lot of good cooks. They don't do measurements either.
No,
They can't do recipes. They just throw it in and it tastes good.
And it's hard because not everybody can do that. But I think if you try, you can get comfortable with it. I mean, this pocket is very easy to make. Just find out what you want to stick in your pocket and go backwards.
Well, that's why I thank you for this video, because I can go back and look at it and understand it and
Absolutely.
do it.
Well, believe me, when I first started crafting, I lived on YouTube, so.
Yeah.
Not so much. I mean, if I see things that I've never seen before, I might go watch a video to learn something. But for the most part, a lot of videos I watch are just for inspiration.
Right.
I don't copy people's designs.
Right.
But just to kind of get the creative juices flowing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So there's my pocket. I did round the corners on mine. Again, you don't have to. It's just what I did. And then this goes, here in my book. Now remember, when I When I did my book, my original one, I left spaces to put something here. So keep that in mind when you go to glue down your pockets. If you want to add, numbers like I did here, or if you want to add an ephemera piece, keep in mind when you glue this pocket down. That's all I'm trying to say.
Do you ever use pictures of family or friends in your journals, or do you always use the black and whites from Tim? I always wondered about that.
Yeah. And my journals, I haven't, because I typically sell everything I make. I create for the pure joy of creating. And I have too much already in my craft room. So I don't keep a lot of my journals. I either sell them or give them away as gifts.
Oh.
But for my Christmas cards, I have. So family Christmas cards, I've used black and whites from our family. Yep.
I can't imagine go as well with the vintage papers of Tim's.
Well, some of the older ones would work, like I said, because some of the ones that I've used, they were of my my mother-in-law and her siblings.
Yeah, those older ones, but I mean more like
40s.
like
Like current
current.
ones.
Yeah,
No,
current.
I've never done that, but again, I'm a vintage crafter, so I tend to go towards the vintage. All right. Okay, so that's the back tab. Again, you can add, your chipboards. You can add ephemera. I'm not going to for the sake of time, but that's that last page, and that's the pocket. I am going to add a little ephemera piece here, which is what I did on this one. So it just has a little label. And then I think also what I did on this one is I did a remnant rub of Exhibit A. And there it is. All right. Now, the next page, I don't think you have this in your kit. I did this on my own. So Tim came out with, somewhere in my mess here. Tim came out with these collage frames. I don't know if you remember that from his last release. That's what this page is. Because I gave you guys some black and white photos, correct?
Yes.
In your kit. Okay, so this is where if you wanted to substitute your own family photos, this is the page I did that on. You definitely don't need these. I just wanted to show you where this came from if you were looking for it. I don't think it's in your kit because I didn't have enough of these. This is also, I don't believe it's in your kit because it was from my personal stash and he doesn't sell these anymore, I don't think. Maybe he does, I don't know. But this is a photo page. So that's what you want to do next. Go through your black and white photos, figure out what photo you want to use. And that's what I did on that page. I think I also gave you, and remind me if I didn't, I gave you some of these bigger pictures too, right? The people. I think I did. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think so too. Either that or I'm mixing it up with what I have.
But that would be good as well as a photo if you didn't want to use yours. So, but it's big. It's a big page. So it takes up the whole page. And this is what I did. I did a photo. You can use these if you wanted to. Or, you can do something else, I guess. But that's how I did this page. So let me find a photo I can use in my mess here. All right. And I don't have one picked out, so we'll have to figure this out. Let's see.
Monica,
Yep,
you gave us real vintage photos.
I did.
I see, because they have things written on the back.
Yep. Yep. That was from one of the estate sales that I went to. Gosh, Robin, I have boxes of black and white photos. I need to put in my shop. I just haven't had the time. But yep, those are real vintage photos.
I just
Oh my
turned one
goodness.
over and saw writing on it, and I thought, oh my goodness.
Yep. All right. So since you did not get a frame in yours, but what you can do is make a faux frame, right? You can get just a piece of paper, cut it rectangular, and then just put your photo right on top. Just cut it smaller to look like a frame. So that could be a faux frame for you. Let's see, what am I doing here? Now, when you go to place your frame, remember, if you want to add remnant rubs or anything, just be conscious of where you put your image. I never would want to put it right at the edge of any of mine. And that's probably obvious what I'm telling you. But just, leave space to add your extra embellishments. Whenever I do my journals, most of my remnant rubs are my extra embellishments. On this particular one, I did a Tim Holtz sticker. You can see that. I come back after everything's decorated and I add the smaller pieces. So I'll add stickers, I'll add remnant rubs, I'll add little sayings. All that is done for the most part after I put the journal together because I want it to be as a filler. All right. So for time's sake, I'm not going to add the remnant rubs, but again, after you're done, come back and add remnant rubs, add stickers, add all your little embellishments. The goal is you don't want to have any pages that are just plain. At least that's my goal. So if you see any pages that are just plain or don't have anything, go back and fill those in with all of your little embellishments. That's what I do. All right. Any questions on that page? That's your photo page. Okay. All right. Okay, so the next page is a pocket. But this is where in your kit, I cut out some of these little slides. I believe I did for you, right? I cut those out. If you have the Tim Holtz die, this I think it's called Specimen. This is what I cut them out with. Okay, I just cut them out, I think, with just manila paper, so you can add remnant rubs or whatever you want to add to it. But that's what I used. And then I think I gave you little tabs. I can't remember. In your kit, I also gave you real slides, I think. I hope I'm not lying. I think I gave you real slides, right? I can't remember. I can't remember if I did or didn't. I thought I did. If I didn't, I apologize. But I know that I gave you these cutout ones, and that's what this page is. So this is where the smaller real slides. I thought I had, Karen. Thank you. So you can use real slides. You can use the faux slides. You can use those little vintage paper photos that we were just talking about, Robin. I think those should fit in these little slides, but that's what this page is. The pocket is very small. I think it's only like an inch big, maybe. Yeah, it's probably like an inch. So it's not a very big pocket. And then also, as you can see, I added a big piece of ephemera on the page. So very simple. We're going to put together the slides right now, but I wanted to show you the pocket. The pocket is about an inch tall. I guess we could do that really quickly. Let's do that. So let's see here. That this die cut here, this is called Specimen, I think. It's one of my favorite dies. I use this all the time. Now another piece, I think, hopefully I'm not going to be lying here, I think I gave you in the kit was another die of mine, which is this one here, that pocket die. I think I gave you one, right?
Yeah, I saw that one.
This is another great one for photos. So, you know, if you wanted to do, I don't have this on my book, but I use this because I think it would be great to put photos or ephemera pieces in. So if you wanted to substitute the pocket that I made for this, these would fit fine as well. So maybe we'll do that actually. So that's what I'm going to do on this particular one. I'm going to use this piece here as my pocket. And then I'm not going to put these together, but this is how they come. These are very easy to put together. All you do is fold them in half. You've got a score line already. Stick your photo in here and then glue the sides. They're very easy to put together. And then that little pocket is perfect to hold your slides, or if you wanted to put pictures, you know, whatever you wanted to put there would work. Remember, you've got the side to add more embellishments. In fact, I think I have something. Yeah, I think I'm going to put that. I don't know yet. But yeah, you can add more embellishments here, remnant rubs, you know, whatever, to your heart's content. Also, these little chipboards here would work really great as the little label right here, which is what I'm going to do. So. Or ephemera pieces as well. Yep, you got lots of choices. Lots of choices. Robin, you're such a good watcher. I think it would be hard for me just not to watch and play.
I'm very slow. That's why I generally watch it first.
Ah, yes.
It's hard for me to watch.
And I'm on my iPad, so that's why
Oh,
I've got,
are you?
yeah,
Yeah,
I've got my face right there.
If I saw someone making something, I think it'd be really hard for me to just watch. So I commend you.
No, I'm pulling out my ephemera and looking at that so I can pick out what I'm using. So
Fantastic. All right. Okay. So over embellish it. I'm not going to do that for the sake of time. We've got about 15 or 20-ish more minutes. I'm going to keep moving along, but don't leave blank spots. Okay. Come back and embellish it with your remnant rubs, with your ephemera, all that good stuff. All right. So let's go to this next page. I can't remember. Do you have this in your kit? I can't remember if it was part of the kit or if it was something I added. It's that yellow bingo card.
I think I saw that.
That's the next piece that I used. See if I can find it.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Will you close your book to close your book and then open to where you're at? Just because I'm kind of, so that's the back. Okay.
That's the back.
Okay.
Page 1.
Okay.
Page 2.
Okay.
You good?
It's like mine's backwards.
Okay, here's your back.
Right?
Hold up your back. Open it. Now hold it flat. Hold it flat. Okay, open it one more time. I'm on the right page.
Okay. I think I added something extra, but that's okay.
That's okay. It's your book.
We're gonna push through.
Teresa, you can add whatever you want. It's your
Yeah.
book. All right.
You get extra credit for that.
That's right. Absolutely. I don't know what this page is, but it's on there. Like right on. I like it. Okay. So the next page we're doing is another side pocket, but I wanted to show you, I made it with an ephemera piece. So if you don't want to use the bingo ephemera piece, what you want to use is something big, something that's going to make a pocket, because you want to be able to add a little tuck. And the way I did my tuck, again, I think it's part of your kit, but I was grabbing from all sorts of items. I did it kind of sideways so you could see the hearts.
Okay, yes, they're in the kit.
Okay. And then I know this isn't in the kit. This is another, this was my stamp actually, but I wanted to show you that you can stamp your pages, but I caution you, be very careful because stamping isn't always perfect. If you have Tim's remnant rubs, this was one of his remnant rubs, but I did actually stamp this. And then on the ephemera piece, I added one of the paper dolls and then I added a sticker. So let's do that really quickly.
Oh, love that page. Clever.
I think I gave you some paper dolls, right?
Yes.
Okay. I think I probably gave you almost a little of everything. All right.
And I think I saw that couple in here too.
Yeah, this is another one that would make a really great pocket as well. But use whatever you want. Let's see what I got left here. I may use this one here.
Oh, I have the big one. I have the big couple.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Hey, Monica,
Yep.
When you have your mojo going like this, you know, you're busy creating, and then all of a sudden your husband puts his head in the door and says, "Are we having dinner tonight?"
You know,
Say whatever you plan to make, dear.
my husband is very, I have to say my husband is very tolerant of my craft.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, you know, I try to be conscious of that. So
I get carried away with
yeah, you
time.
really
I
can.
lose track of time.
And obviously family comes first. So I definitely try not to hoard it. I spend too much time in here as it is. So like tonight we're going out to dinner. So that's why I said I can't make dinner tonight. I'm teaching a class. I think all of my energy will be going into this class. So,
Oh yeah, you're gonna be so tired.
so we're going out to dinner tonight with some
That's
friends.
great.
So
That's
yeah.
good.
So this is a very easy page. Okay. This is another, if you know me and if you've shared my lives, and Robin, this is going to be no surprise to you. This is my paper doll basket.
Yes.
I'm obsessed with the paper dolls. It's a
Me
problem.
too.
It is a problem, I admit.
Yes.
I like the little character. Again, I want choices. You know, I want to, when I sit down to create, I want to have choices. So
I think choice is what it's about.
it is.
That's how I rationalize buying.
Yeah, I don't, you know, I don't spend a lot of money on frivolous items, except for my crafting. And I don't even want to say that's frivolous, but this is where most of my money goes. And the way that I justify it is, you know what? I work, so I'm allowed to buy a few things for myself.
Right. I'm retired. I need a part-time job.
I know, right? It's easy to get lost, especially in Tim's items.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Right.
But you know what? They make me happy. So,
That's
and
right.
honestly, they do make me happy. This is my happy place. So, you know, I'm okay with it.
That's right.
And this is definitely my happy place.
Is that going to be a pocket or?
It is a pocket. Yeah.
Okay.
Let me.
You probably said that, but
Okay.
I got it.
So we're doing this one here. I've got this heart card.
Okay.
And it tucks right in, and it goes sideways. The piece that I used for my ephemera piece, it wouldn't go straight, but I didn't want it straight. That wasn't my intent. My intent was for it to be part of the background. So,
Okay.
and then I put a paper doll. So. But I truly enjoy what I'm doing, you know. So
It comes through. Yes.
it makes me happy.
Makes us happy too.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. We're glad you share your talent.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely.
You know, and it's funny, and I appreciate you saying that. But I guess it's talent. I don't necessarily consider myself as talented as some of the people out there, but
Well, we decided you are, so.
Yeah.
I agree, Teresa.
thank you.
You're just going to have to deal with it.
All right. Thank you. I think when you love something so much, and I'll say it, I truly love this. I think it's easy, you know, and that's really, I hope you guys will make more of these journals when we're done here. And like I said, once you attend my class, we're friends. So if you need to email me, if you have questions, I would love for you to attend my Sunday lives. I'm going to give you all of my links so you can.
That's nice. I would appreciate
talk
that.
to me. Sure. But yeah, you become part of my crafting community.
You know, it's really nice to have other people. I don't have any friends that share Tim Holtz. So it's really nice to meet people that love him as much as I do.
I know. And you know, we're out there. You just got to find us.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We're hiding in our crafts rooms.
You
I think I found them today.
Oh yeah.
Every once in a while we lurk out.
Karen had a question, Monica.
Oh, Karen, did I miss you? Chat. Let me pull up my chat. I've got my head down. I have 2 pages left. Is that right? Let me check. Hold on. Okay, so 1, 2. Yep, that's right. That's exactly right. So we're at 322. We've got 2 pages left. If you guys are good to push through, I'm going to push through. I don't know if it's going to take 5 minutes or 15 minutes, but we've only got 2 pages left. So we're going to push through. If you need to drop, I completely understand.
I'm good.
All
I'm not leaving.
We are almost done, so I don't see the point in stopping.
We're soldiers.
Yeah, I didn't think we'd be able to get through the whole book, but yeah, we're doing really, really good. I mean, granted, I did pop past a few pages that we already had examples of, but all right, I'm just going to stick that there. But you get the idea on this page.
Yep.
All right, so let's go to, these are our last 2 pages, and then you flip over to the front again. So our last 2 pages, again, are pockets, but I wanted to share with you. So I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think I gave you guys a little pocket. See, I think it's called a seed packet, is what it is. You have to put it together yourself. I didn't put it together for you, but it's out of the manila, I want to say. But it is a seed packet, and this is where I put the extra pictures. So, Robin, let me know. I'm pretty sure I gave you guys that. If not, I guess I'm lying. Nope, you don't see it. All right.
I don't see it.
Okay, let's make one. We're going to make one.
Yay.
Okay, so the seed packets, again, they are a Tim Holtz die. I can't remember the actual die set it comes out of. Robin, you probably know which one I'm talking about.
No, actually, I don't.
Let me show you.
Is that one of the 3 that he came out with all at once with the specimen and?
It is. Yeah, it is.
Okay.
So it's this one right here.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and make this. So get some paper.
Excuse me.
It all starts with a piece of paper. And let me just find
All
one.
good things start with paper.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. All right. I'm going to use this really pretty piece of paper. All right. So again, I don't do measurements, so you're going to have to bear with me.
Oh, it's like a coin pocket.
It is a coin pocket. It's exactly what it is. So let's just move along here. All right. So you're going to need a scoreboard again. You're going to score, starting with a big piece of paper. We'll trim it down. In fact, you know what? We can trim it down right now. Score. Score a 1/2 inch at the bottom of your paper. And then fold it. Yeah. And then let's see how tall this is. This is 4.5. I'm going to say it's 4 3/4. So cut after you have it folded, all right, because I'm not taking that into consideration. Cut it at 4 3/4. All right, so that way we have a more manageable piece of paper.
Did you say 4 3/4 with
Yes,
it
ma'am.
folded?
Yep.
Okay.
All right. And then again, keeping your paper folded, go up against your scoreboard. Score the top at about, let's see, where is this at? 3.5. 3.5. 3 3/4, I'd say. So that's going to be this. That's your flap here, 3 3/4. Yeah. Okay. All right. Now from here, I don't want to say it gets tricky, but it gets a little tricky. So you're going to need to figure out how do I explain this? Okay, your finished seed packet is 2.5 inches, and I don't do math, so you guys might need to help me. So our paper is 6 inches. I have this to go off of, but you don't. So figure out 3, right? 3 inches is in the middle. And then go out about, I don't know. 3 inches is in the middle. Score at, bear with me. I just want to get it right for you ladies, so just give me one moment. See, this is when my tongue is out when I'm crafting. Let me see. All right, so it's about 1 1/4 about. So score at 1 1/2 is where you're going to want to score. All right. Are you guys with me so far? I know I'm taking my time here, but this is why I have die cuts. All right. And then what you're going to want to do is, you know how you scored the bottom? You want to cut off this little piece here. So don't do it triangularly. Go straight up. So it's cut and then cut. Okay. And then if you have your corner rounders, you want to round this bottom flap here. Okay. All right. You're also going to cut this here, this corner. Is what I'm saying making sense?
Yes.
Okay. If you have the die cut, put the paper in your big shot and run it through with the die.
Or find someone that has the die and have them run yourself off.
But if you don't have the die cut, then you can absolutely make your own. All right. Okay, so that's half of it. Again, you want to round your corners. I don't want to use the big one, do I? I think I'll use the big one. All right. And you can kind of see it coming together, right? So that's half of it. Now you've got to figure out the other half. So let's figure that out. So based on this, you want to score. Okay. Here's where we're at. Fold it over, okay? Put it in your score machine and then score it at
3 3 3/4.
well, it's not quite 3,
Oh,
but it's not quite 2 3/4. So somewhere between 2 3/4 and 3 is where you want to score it. But my point being is you want to make sure you have enough to fold over. So kind of be aware of that. So I mean, hopefully this won't be a complete disaster. So I'm going to score at 2 3/4. I think that should give me enough. Oh yeah, I'm good. That could have been really embarrassing if it didn't work.
So what was that score line at?
2 3/4. So here's where we're at. So we've already done this side, right? Fold this over, put it up against your scoreboard, and score at 2 3/4.
Okay.
Yep. And then again, just cut off the excess. Round your corners. Oh, wrong corner. And
There
then
you
you're
go.
ready to glue. Yeah. It's not hard. It's just, it takes math sometimes. But yeah, so it's not so bad. So you don't, you know, and I love Tim, but you don't have to buy his stuff to get some of these cool ideas.
So may I share something?
Yes.
Okay, so your piece of paper is 5 1/4 by 6. And then having the 6-inch, like the full length right this way, you'll score the top at 1 inch, the bottom at 1/2 inch, and then
Yep.
side at 1 3/4 and 1 1/2.
Yep. That's exactly right.
Okay.
That's exactly right. And then just
draw pictures too.
and then just add your glue. And then add your glue. And there's your little seed packet or your pocket card, whatever you want to call it.
Of course, my scissors have been lost.
All right. Yeah, I thought I included these in the kit, but I guess I didn't.
I'm glad that you taught us.
Yeah.
This is actually better.
That's right. And then these fit perfectly into these.
Oh, that's so cute. I love it.
All right. So let's see where we're at here. So these are our last 2 pages. I think I'm just going to talk about them because they're pretty simple. So again, this page here, you're going to do your pocket, right? You have your little thumb notch. It's nothing fancy about that. I did put that big rose. I think you have that in your kit.
Yes.
That was the back embellishment part. So if before you put your pocket, if you want to embellish your page, do that first before you add your pocket, of course. And then your little seed packet that we just made will fit right in here. Put your extra photos in here if you'd like, or something else if you want to. But that's that page. And then this page here, again, you should have this in your kit. All I did was tear the paper to create a little pocket. This is another ephemera piece that you have in your kit.
Cute.
And I added the little doll to it, which you guys should have these in your kits as well. And then all I did was just tuck that in there. So nothing fancy, just a couple of pockets for your last 2 pages. And that's it.
Now, are those pockets down towards the below the bottom also?
Yes, you want your pockets, Robin, you always want to line up with your tags.
Okay.
Because what that enables you to do is to stand up your book. All right, that's what's going to enable you to stand up your book. If you don't have your, I don't know where that goes. If you don't have your pages lined up to the bottom, you won't have your book won't be stable enough to stand up.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, so that's it, ladies. Let me go ahead
Thank you.
and So let me go ahead and switch up so we can chat a minute. How do I do that? Settings. Okay, there we are. All right, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the camera so we can chat. So I will send this video to you as soon as I get it downloaded, and I'll send it to you. Again, please don't share the link with anybody. This is for you alone. So let me stop the recording and video.